Welcome to the deep dive. So things are moving fast,
Yeah.
especially in the professional world and the legal sector. It feels like it's just accelerating like crazy. You probably feel it too. Our sources today, they really hit this hard. They say the legal world is evolving at lightning speed. And then there's this really bold statement that kind of grabbed me. By 2026, the skills that set you apart today may no longer be enough. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, what does that actually mean for you listening right now?
Well, that's what this deep dive is all about. We want to give you a kind of roadmap, a way to, future-proof your career in law. We're going to unpack the key skills, the really vital stuff for, say, 2025, 2026.
Exactly. And it's important to understand this isn't just about learning a few new tech tools. It's deeper than that. It's a real fundamental shift, a shift in how legal work actually gets done. And frankly, what legal expertise even is anymore. So yeah, our goal is simple. Give you the shortcut, help you figure out what really matters most quickly so you can navigate this, well, confidently and strategically. Okay, let's get into it. First, stop on this roadmap. AI governance and compliance. AI is obviously huge. The source material says it's becoming a core part of legal work. But then, right away, the warning. But it comes with risks.
Right. And managing those risks, that's the key challenge. It's not just about knowing the risks exist. I mean, think about it. AI isn't just another tool you regulate from the outside. In some ways, it's almost like a co-creator of new legal situations, new kinds of liabilities. So lawyers who get good AI governance, they're not just ticking compliance boxes. They're actually designing how innovation happens ethically, turning those risks into, well, advantages for clients. The core skill focus here is learning how to assess AI tools, ensure compliance, and navigate upcoming regulations.
That's a really interesting way to frame it, architects of ethical innovation. Okay, so let's break down the specific skills mentioned. First up is AI risk assessment. What does that actually involve?
It means looking under the hood, basically. Evaluating an AI tool for things like bias. Is it fair? Is it transparent? Can you understand how it makes decisions?
Right, the black box problem.
Exactly. And does it comply with existing laws? That's the baseline.
Okay, assessment first. Then regulatory navigation. That sounds challenging given how fast things are changing.
It is. New AI rules, governance frameworks, they're popping up everywhere. So you need to be constantly scanning the horizon, anticipating what's coming next, not just reacting.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And finally, ethical implementation. What's that about?
Yeah.
This is where the judgment comes in.
Hmm.
It's balancing the drive to innovate, to use these powerful tools with doing it responsibly.
So advising clients not just on the can we do this, but the should we do this?
Precisely. Thinking about societal impact, privacy, avoiding algorithmic bias in really sensitive areas like hiring or lending. So you see, if you have these skills, you're not just using AI. You're mastering its legal implications. You become that essential advisor. You help turn those potential minefields into strategic paths forward.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Moving from AI then to something equally fundamental, data. Our sources put it very starkly. Data is the new gold. And protecting it, that's a legal priority. Which leads us straight into data privacy regulation.
Absolutely. And the landscape here is, well, it's global and it's complex. You've got the big ones everyone knows, like GDPR in Europe.
Right, the right to be forgotten, all that.
Exactly. Huge impact. Then you have CCPA in California setting a high bar in the U.S. But it doesn't stop there. More laws are emerging all the time, everywhere.
It sounds like a patchwork quilt of regulations.
It can feel like it, and they don't always line up perfectly, which creates headaches for global businesses. So the skill focus is really twofold. Understand these global privacy frameworks, plural, and then be able to advise clients on compliance strategies that actually work across these different rules.
Okay, so let's look at the sub-skills again. Global frameworks, mastering GDPR, CCPO. You mentioned they might clash sometimes.
Oh, definitely. What's required in one place might be slightly different or even conflict with requirements elsewhere. So you need a sophisticated approach to create a unified compliance program if your client operates internationally.
Tricky. Okay, then compliance strategy. That sounds practical.
It is. It's about developing actual workable privacy programs, not just policies on a shelf. Programs tailored to different business models, tech startup versus healthcare provider, for example. Very different needs.
Right. And the last word, risk mitigation. Finding the weak spots.
Exactly. Identifying vulnerabilities before there's a breach, implementing safeguards. Because a data breach isn't just a technical problem, it's a massive legal and reputational liability
Yeah, you see the headlines.
all the time. So being able to navigate this complex data world is incredibly valuable. You're not just ensuring compliance, you're protecting the client's core assets and reputation. You're their shield, essentially.
That's a powerful role. Okay, next up, something that still feels a bit futuristic to some, but it's very real. Blockchain contracts. The sources say it's revolutionizing contract creation and record keeping. Big claim.
It is a big claim, but there's substance there. We're talking about smart contracts.
Smart contracts. Explain that a bit. How are they different?
Okay, so think of a traditional contract. It's words on paper, right? If someone doesn't follow through, you might have to go to court.
Right, the enforcement part.
Exactly. A smart contract aims to automate that enforcement. The terms of the agreement are written directly into computer code on a blockchain. So certain actions automatically trigger consequences based on the code.
Like that real estate example you mentioned earlier, funds released when the deed is registered digitally.
Precisely. It can cut out intermediaries, reduce disputes, increase speed and transparency. The skill focus is learning how smart contracts work, the tech side, and then how to draft and validate blockchain-based agreements, the legal side. It's a real blend.
Okay, so the sub-skills reflect that blend. First, smart contract basics. Understanding the code part.
Yeah, the fundamentals.
Yeah.
How they execute automatically, how they're stored immutably on the blockchain, and critically, understanding the implications of code is law. What happens if there's a bug or circumstances change? Traditional contract law has ways to handle that. Code needs careful thought.
Yeah, edge cases. Then legal drafting for blockchain. How is that different from normal drafting?
You're translating legal intent into precise, unambiguous code logic. You need to ensure the coded agreement accurately reflects the party's intentions and is legally sound. It requires collaborating potentially with developers or having some understanding yourself.
Okay. And finally, validation and security, making sure it works and it's legal.
That's it. Ensuring the contract code is secure, free from vulnerabilities that could be exploited. And confirming that, despite being code, it holds up as a legally valid and binding agreement under relevant law.
So the aha moment here for listeners is what? Why should they prioritize this?
The aha is the potential for huge efficiency gains and increased trust. Imagine transactions completing automatically, securely, transparently, with less friction. For clients dealing with complex agreements or needing high levels of trust, this is a major advantage. Being able to offer that expertise sets you apart.
Faster, more reliable transactions. That definitely sounds appealing. And speaking of speed and efficiency, that ties nicely into our next area, legal process automation. Client expectations here are high. The material says clients expect speed and efficiency, demanding it, really. Does this mean the end of lawyers pulling all-nighters reviewing documents by hand?
That's almost a rite of passage.
Yeah, well, maybe not the complete end, but certainly a lot less of it. Automation is the answer to that client demand. And look, it's not about replacing lawyers. It's about augmenting them, freeing you up from the repetitive, lower-value tasks, the document grind, the chasing paperwork.
So that you can focus on the complex stuff. Exactly. The strategic advice, the novel legal questions, the negotiation, the things that require real human legal expertise. The skill focus here is mastering tools that automate document review, case tracking, and workflow management. It's about smart tech application.
Okay, practical skills. Let's break them down. Document automation. What does that look like?
Implementing systems, software that can help draft standard documents, review contracts for specific clauses, organize discovery materials. It saves huge amounts of time and honestly reduces the risk of human error on those repetitive tasks.
Right. Makes sense. Then workflow management, streamlining processes.
Yeah, designing how work flows through the practice or legal department more efficiently, using tools to track case progress, manage deadlines, automate approvals, reduce bottlenecks, less manual chasing.
Getting rid of the friction points.
Precisely. And finally, performance analytics. Using data. Yes, using data generated by these systems to understand how your legal operations are actually performing. Where are the delays? How long do specific tasks take? Are resources allocated effectively? It allows for data-driven decisions to improve efficiency and service delivery even further.
So it's not just about knowing the tech, but using it to drive real business results.
Absolutely. It's about operational excellence, showing clients you can deliver legal services faster, more reliably, maybe even more cost-effectively, and importantly, it frees you up to do more interesting, high-impact work.
Which sounds good to me. Okay, our final area broadens the lens quite a bit. It's called cross-disciplinary skills. The source material paints this picture of the lawyer of 2026 as part legal expert, part problem solver, part strategist.
That sounds like a big evolution.
It really is, and it's necessary because legal problems today rarely exist in a vacuum. They're tangled up with technology issues, data considerations, business strategy, public policy.
So you need a broader toolkit. Exactly. The skill focus is developing these complementary skills, things like coding basics, data analytics, and policy analysis. It's about being able to speak the language of other disciplines and integrate different perspectives to solve complex problems.
Okay, let's unpack these diverse skills. Coding basics. Do lawyers need to become programmers?
No, not necessarily become expert coders, but understanding the fundamentals of programming logic, how software is built.
Right.
That helps you work much more effectively with tech teams, understand digital evidence, grasp how algorithms might impact legal issues. It's about basic literacy.
Okay, literacy, not mastery. Then data analytics. We touched on this with automation, but this sounds broader.
It is. It's about being able to look at larger data sets, maybe litigation trends, contract analysis across thousands of documents, compliance data, and extract meaningful insights. Using data to inform legal strategy, predict outcomes, make better arguments, it's moving beyond just anecdote.
Right. Evidence-based lawyering, almost. What about policy analysis?
That's about understanding how laws and regulations are made, their intended and unintended consequences. Being able to evaluate the impact of proposed policies on clients, or even help shape policy debates. It often bridges law and public affairs.
Interesting. And design thinking, that sounds like it comes from a completely different world.
It kind of does, but it's incredibly relevant. It's about applying a client-centered approach to legal services, really understanding the client's needs and experience, and then designing solutions, maybe new service models, clearer communication, better tools that genuinely meet those needs, less jargon, more user-friendly.
Improving the client experience. Makes sense. And finally, project management. Isn't that just standard practice?
You'd think so, but applying formal project management discipline to complex legal matters, large litigation, M&A deals, compliance implementations, is still a developing skill for many. It means managing scope, budget, timeline, stakeholders effectively, bringing efficiency and accountability to big legal initiatives.
So putting it all together, these cross-disciplinary skills create a more holistic lawyer.
Exactly. A holistic legal professional. Someone who could see the bigger picture, connect the dots between law, tech, data, business, policy. Someone equipped to tackle those really messy, multifaceted problems that are becoming more common. It encourages you to step outside the traditional legal silo.
Which is really the key to future-proofing, isn't it? Thinking beyond the traditional boundaries.
That's the core idea.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, the message from all this material seems crystal clear. Start now. It really hammers home that the legal innovator of 2026 is the legal professional who invests in the right skills today. No time to wait.
It underscores that this is a journey. Continuous learning. Staying ahead isn't about a single course or certification. It's about proactively engaging with these changes consistently. Think of it as an ongoing investment in your own relevance and value.
A necessary investment, it sounds like. So we want to leave you with a final thought, a question pulled directly from our source material for you to reflect on. Which one will you focus on first? AI governance, data privacy, blockchain, automation, those cross-disciplinary skills. Where will you start building your future? Something to think about.